Michael, thank you for joining us. Yeah, so, this is a bit of a different type of beverage than we're used to seeing here at BevNET Live, but I think we're going to start seeing a lot more in the future. Tell me a little bit about your cannabis beverage product.
Absolutely. So mood33, we're a new California-based cannabis-infused sparkling beverage line, leveraging the mood-enhancing benefits of cannabis plant with functional herbs and fruit and floral extracts. mood33 is really a brand where we can celebrate those mood-enhancing benefits. So each of our flavors is inspired by one of those moods. So we have joy, passion, and calm, each with different ratios of THC and CBD, which give you different benefits and different feelings, all along with functional terpenes and those base flavors. They kind of range between a spectrum of happy and energetic to balanced and sort of peaceful to even sleepy and restful. So yerba mate, peppermint lemon peel in the joy, green tea, passion fruit and lime for our passion SKU, and chamomile, hibiscus, and raspberry for your end of the day or weekend calming, kind of nice wine replacement even for a lot of folks. So.
Right. So I get the mood part of the name. What's the 33 mean?
So each bottle, 33 calories, but we also use 33 some folks that are interested in numerology or sacred geometry or even ancient religion and metaphysics. 33 represents a few different themes, but mostly it's around elevating an experience or a perception, which the cannabis plant can do. The 33 reveals itself throughout our history as being a number that can represent closer, getting closer to the heavens as far as perspective and understanding. So on our bottle, the D points up to the 33, which is kind of how we think about getting elevated and not necessarily high, which is kind of where the former cannabis marketplace has been. It's about getting high, and we're talking about now being elevated, being heightened with our awareness and our senses through the cannabis plant, but still functional and really able to kind of execute normal activities throughout the day at our low dose.
Yeah, and so you've been selling right now in California cannabis dispensaries. So how do you kind of square that difference, kind of trying to create a different kind of identity of that elevation versus the high that we're so used to hearing about?
Sure. So in California, a lot of the folks that were coming into legal dispensaries before 2018 were looking for high dose medical sort of targeted products that can help them with something specific. Whereas now, as it's legal for all adults, people are coming in looking for more of a functional experience, which means lower dose. So at 10 milligrams and being one of the lower priced options in a dispensary at $8 MSRP, we can kind of be that kombucha type replacement, but with sort of using that analog as a cannabis beverage. So folks are still going to want to find different ways to hydrate and also get those benefits from cannabis, and we can kind of be that product for them in their first time.
Yeah, so that's interesting too, because it kind of you're sort of redefining the traditional kind of cannabis consumer as we've kind of come to know them a bit. I mean, who are some of these people? What does this demographic look like for this space?
Sure. So new shoppers are coming in looking for non-combustible, smoke-free ways to enjoy cannabis. Not everyone can vape and smoke throughout their daily lives, so they're looking for edible products. A lot of those edible products may not be as health-oriented as they would like in a normal grocery environment. That's that same shopper now coming into dispensaries. So at 33 calories for a full bottle, we are finding those more health-conscious consumers, your soccer moms, your yoga girls, your athletes that are looking for smoke-free ways to get the benefits of cannabis without all that sugar and artificial ingredient list. So that's kind of where we're finding traction. But connoisseurs also love the way we've married fruit flavors and terpenes with the cannabis plant. So we're also getting some of those, tried and true cannabis users that just now like to drink cannabis as well. So we definitely lean towards that new consumer that's now coming into the store, but we are still finding success with those, folks that have been buying cannabis for a long time.
Yeah, and so, another thing that's kind of that you guys have going for you is you have a pretty strong team behind this, and you brought on some real industry experience. Now, I believe this is with Beyond Brands,
Absolutely.
correct? So tell me about that.
So, the trajectory of cannabis as it matures into a mainstream category is really going to be about 50% CPG-inspired products or formats at the very least. And we saw that writing on the wall when we first started this mission 4 years ago. So knowing if we started with a CPG-centric team who's built a beverage brand, who's built a food manufacturing practice, we'll be able to navigate the sort of treacherous landscape that is cannabis manufacturing in a slightly different way, but also be able to position it in store in a completely new way. It may feel familiar in a normal grocery store environment, but these shelf spaces are definitely in a position now where merchandising matters, and I think having that CPG-heavy co-founding team and the support of Beyond Brands, who's launched some great successful CPG brands, both in beverage and food, we see cannabis as really just a next functional ingredient that can be really inserted into any product line. So starting there is really where we want it to be. And I think that's sort of starting to play out pretty well for us at this point.
So, how do you lead a brand like this with the current regulatory environment around cannabis? Now, obviously, California, you're good, but, do you want to expand outside of California, and how do you do that?
Absolutely. I think for California to be our home marketplace, there is enough market opportunity to really grow within this state. And we also know, conversely, that the brands that do well in California will do well in all the other legalized cannabis states. So we have active conversations for Nevada for 2019, a new license opportunity to bring the brand into that state for summertime. Great tourist-centric city, love to enjoy themselves and love to drink beverages as well, so that's going to be a fun one. Canada is just legalized for adult use. When they do allow food and beverage, that's looking more towards the end of 2019. We're setting up conversations already with licensed producers and also the governments in certain provinces to advise them on how to bring a regulatory framework that would allow products like this into Canada. So definitely looking at new markets. But at the end of the day, being an East Coast person and an East Coast centric team, we'd love to do this in a New York, in a Massachusetts one day. We do see those adult use markets as ripe for food and beverage as well, but it's just a timing thing. And the Farm Bill should help for CBD that's coming up, and it should start the conversation not only about CBD but also full cannabis and THC infused products. And we hope to be one of those brands that shows that safe, low dose experience is not anything to really be afraid of. If you don't strangle it too much with regulatory, you could really create a really flourishing economy. And that's, we love to do that, and that's our plan.
Yeah, and I think we've been hearing so much about CBD lately, and there's a lot of brands that are getting in on CBD, but they're skittish around THC, or even if they're not, maybe skittish is the wrong word, some of them just don't want to do it.
Sure.
So why did you aim for the THC market rather than just kind of trying to maybe dip your toes in with CBD or play around?
So we owe a lot of the innovation and R&D behind the line and the formulas to CBD, as we started as a CBD-only concept, so we could actually work with really great professional labs and flavor suppliers to really get the flavors that we wanted. Then we just inserted our input, which was THC. But we see CBD as a big opportunity for us. And a lot of consumers don't know THC and CBD are synergistic. So even if you have a little bit of THC in a CBD product, you're actually going to get more of that CBD into your blood-brain barrier and past that threshold and get it into your bloodstream. So it's our position that you're going to have a more valuable, effective product with the two compounds and the terpenes. That doesn't mean we're not going to do a CBD-only flavor and SKU, and especially after the Farm Bill passes, we'll launch that into traditional channels. But this is really the full effect, the most value in a bottle that we could kind of produce in that regulated framework. CBD will eventually probably take over the dispensary channel in size, but that'll take still a little while. So we'll measure it and be ready.
Yeah, and I'll be curious seeing CBD only mood33 and as
summertime next year. Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Excellent.
Yep.
Oh, wow, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, great. Well, Michael, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
And I think we're going to kick it over now to Todd Gibson, the founder and CEO of Yerbe. Michael, thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Great talking to you.
Awesome.